If you're over 18 years old in this country, the government says that you are a fully formed autonomous citizen. You can vote, you can sign a binding contract that puts you in debt for the rest of your life, and you can marry the love of your life. You can literally be handed a rifle and sent to war to die for the Commonwealth. But if you're a student and you walk into Centrelink asking for enough money to buy some 2-minute noodles so that you don't pass out whilst handling sulfuric acid in your chemistry class, the government looks at you, pats you on the head, and asks, "But what does Daddy earn?" Because in the eyes of Australia's social security system, until you turn 22 years old, you are effectively a child. You are a financial parasite attached to your parents, regardless of whether you actually live with them or if they give you a single cent. Let's talk about the parental income test. We're going to name names of the politicians who built this trap. And I'm going to show you exactly how a multi-millionaire's kid can get the full youth allowance while a teacher's kid gets nothing. Let's look at the sheer, unadulterated absurdity of the numbers. In 1973, we lowered the voting age to 18 because of the Vietnam War. Logic: if you're old enough to be conscripted, you're old enough to vote. Yet for the youth allowance, we're stuck in a time warp. The system assumes your parents are legally responsible for you until 22. This creates a fractional citizenship. You are an adult for criminal law. In fact, in some states, we're happy to lock up 10-year-olds. But you're a toddler for financial support. And it's not because young people are staying home longer. The law doesn't care if you move out. You can move 2,000 kilometres away from home to study, pay your own rent, buy your own food. Centrelink will still assess your parents' income. And if your parents refuse to support you, too bad. The government operates on the assumption of parental support, but they don't force your parents to pay. They just cut your payment. It's legislative gaslighting. You are trapped in a poverty trap because of money you do not have access to. There's reports of students at RMIT University presenting with scurvy because they're living on $30 a week after rent. In a first world country, scurvy. That's a disease for 17th century pirates, not 21st century engineering students. So who did this? Who looked at an 18-year-old adult and said, "Nah, go ask mummy"? Let's walk through the Hall of Fame. First, the Howard government. In 1998, they introduced the Common Youth Allowance. Senator Jocelyn Newman is the mother of this disaster. She explicitly argued that welfare should be a safety net, not a hammock. Under her watch, the age of independence was actually set at 25. 25! You could rent a car, have a mortgage, and 3 divorces, but still, Centrelink wanted to see your dad's tax return. And then came Labor, the Gillard government. They had a chance to fix it. The Bradley Review said, "Hey, this is stopping poor kids from going to uni." So what did Julia Gillard do? She lowered it. Slowly. To 22. Why stop at 22? Why not 18, like the rest of the legal system? Budgetary constraints. The student unions begged them. They said, "We're adults." The government said, "You're expensive." So 22 it remains. But the real piece de resistance, the special sauce that makes this system not just mean, but corrupt, that comes from the Abbott-Turnbull era. Enter Social Services Minister Scott Morrison and his successor, Christian Porter. In 2015, they made a change that sounds boring, but actually it's infuriating. They abolished the parental assets test and the family actual means test. Remember those names. This is the part. that will probably make you want to throw your monitor out the window. The current system tests parental income, not parental wealth. Scenario A. Let's take 2 school teachers, combined income, 140 grand. They have a mortgage, a car loan, 3 kids. They are middle class. Their kid gets 0 youth allowance because their taxable income is too high. Scenario B. Now let's take a family sitting on $10 million worth of gold bullion, empty investment properties that generate no rent, and growth shares that pay no dividends. Their taxable income? 0. The result? Their kid gets the full youth allowance. You heard me. Christian Porter and Scott Morrison removed the asset test to help the asset-rich income poor. A noble goal. But by removing it entirely, they legislated welfare for the rich. They also removed the family actual means test. Now, this was a specific test designed to catch wealthy people hiding money in family trusts and private companies. Gone. Poof! So now, if your parents are salaried employees, like nurses, teachers, bus drivers, you are screwed because every dollar they earn is visible. But if your parents are sophisticated investors who can structure their wealth into non-income producing assets, congratulations, here's your taxpayer-funded check. The system is designed to means test the working class and wave through the asset class. It's a reverse Robin Hood. But wait, I hear you cry. Can't you prove you're independent? Sure. Welcome to the Hunger Games. To be independent before 22, you essentially have to work full-time, 30 hours a week, for 18 months. So, to get support to study, you have to stop studying for 2 years. We're forcing our brightest minds to take a gap year to stack shelves just to prove to the government that they aren't relying on mummy and daddy. Or you can try the unreasonable to live at home route, where you have to drag your family trauma out in front of the government and get third-party verification that your parents are abusive. And if your parents refuse to sign the form, good luck. Now you're going into battle on an empty stomach. We treat 18-year-olds as adults when we want their tax, their vote, or their bodies for war. But the moment they need help, we treat them like children. It's time to lower the age of independence to 18. Not 25, not 22, 18. The same age you get to vote for the people who designed this mess. Now, completely unrelated to this video, if you'll excuse me, I have an appointment with my accountant to set up a family trust.